Taylor?
Where's Taylor?
That's Daddy. That's Daddy. Oh, give Daddy a kiss.
That's my daddy. This is my daddy.
Yep, that's your daddy. Go ahead, sit down. What? Yes, he does. Yeah. He's showing off, Alex. Look, who's that in the tank? Is that Daddy?
Okay, good morning everybody, both Taylor's birthday party and others, and welcome to the Virginia Aquarium. My name is Alex, I work in the education department here, and this is Chris. Chris is one of our fabulous divers, and he's going to spend the next couple of minutes with us, helping us learn a little bit about scuba diving. Now the first thing we need to know about the gentleman in the aquarium right now is that he is a scuba diver. For a lot of you, that's probably something you already knew. But I thought we'd point it out again, because it turns out that there's a lot of ways to dive. We could dive off the diving board, or we could go diving in a submarine. But Chris is a scuba diver. The word scuba is an acronym. It stands for Self-Contained Underwater Breathing Apparatus. And now, by the way, you know why we say scuba, right? Because it just doesn't work to say, gee, what a pretty day, let's go self-contained underwater breathing apparatus diving. That's just way too complicated. So instead we think of that as scuba. Now fortunately for us, even though that acronym is long and complicated, we just have to remember the first two words, the S and the C, self-contained. And what that means is that when our divers go underwater, they've got all of the air that they need to breathe in a tank on their back. Now we have a little problem. I really want Chris to turn around and show us the tank that he's got on his back, but I don't have a good way to talk to him. We've tried a whole bunch of things over the years. Sometimes I yell really loud, but even then he can't really hear me through the window. A couple of years ago we got some radios, which are really cool, but when he takes one underwater they explode. So that's not good. Then we tried writing him notes, but paper gets kind of soggy underwater, so he can't really talk back to us. Finally though, we figured out that hand signals work really well. Sign language works really well to talk to our scuba divers. So, I'm going to teach you one sign now, and the rest as we go along today. Watch closely though, because this is the one that we're going to use the most. This is the OK sign. The OK sign is both a question and an answer. It means, are you okay? And also, yes, I am okay. So before we ask our divers to do anything, we're always going to check and make sure they're okay. Now, like I said, the first piece of gear I want to see is Chris's tank. So I'm going to ask him whether he's okay, and then I'm going to ask him to turn around and show us his tank. Now, you got to pay close attention because in just a moment, I will need your help. So, I'm going to turn around and I'm going to ask whether Chris is okay. He says that he is. Then I'm going to pat my back where I would have a tank if I was a scuba diver. He's going to turn around and show us that tank on his back. What color is Chris's tank? What color is it? You can shout it out. You don't have to raise your hands. It's red. Good. That's how I know that you know where it is. Very good. Nobody said black, so we don't think it's his fins or anything like that. Now, in that tank, Chris has got about the same amount of air that we find in the average size phone booth. As I have been giving this program in the last couple of years, I've discovered that there are fewer people than in the past who know what a phone booth is. So if you are one of those people, you may instead think of the amount of air in his tank as about the same as we would find in a couple of gigantic suitcases, like mom's going on vacation for a week suitcases. You know, the really huge ones that you can't fit in the car. But obviously, we can't fit those gigantic suitcases or a phone booth into his tank. So to fit that same amount of air in, we have to squeeze it down. We have to compress it. But that compressed air is not so good for our divers to breathe. That would be like breathing out of one of those things that used to fill up balloons at the grocery store. Just ruin your day. So instead, Chris has something in his mouth called a regulator. And by the time the air has gone through the first and second stages of that regulator, it's back to being about the same pressure as the air that we breathe here at sea level. So, we are going to ask Chris to show us his regulator. And this is where I need your help. See, Chris and I have been working together now for a lot of years. And around about year number 3, he decided he was no longer interested in what I have to say. So when I asked him to do something, instead of showing me his regulator or showing me his tank, often he sticks out his tongue or he makes faces or something like that. And I don't want that. I want him to help you guys learn a little bit about scuba diving. So, if you would like to come and talk to Chris, will you come hang out in front of the aquarium so that he can see you? You can all come if you want. Adults, you are certainly welcome to, not just kids. Anybody who's interested, come join us. We're going to hang out right in front of the aquarium so we can see. If you're kind of a tall person, we're going to kneel down. You guys are all kind of tall people. Let's go like this. Can you kneel down so we can see? is make sure that he's okay. That looks like this for anybody who forgot. Can you check and see? Oh, very good. Now, the way we say show me your regulator is we blow him a giant kiss. Can you blow him a giant kiss? Excellent job. I like it. Gentlemen, can you get landscape? Excellent. Thank you. Now, when Chris takes that regulator out of his mouth, you see that there are still some bubbles that are coming through it, and that's okay. When he takes it out of his mouth, he holds his breath. When he puts it back in his mouth, he blows through it to clear the water out of it, and then he goes on breathing just like he was before. Now, you guys will notice that Chris is sitting on the bottom of our aquarium, and that's because he's wearing a weight belt. A weight belt is exactly what it sounds like. It's a big heavy belt that sinks him down to the bottom of our aquarium. And he needs that because otherwise he'd be floating up at the top and he wouldn't be able to see the fish. But the problem is that he needs a way to get out. So some people think he should just climb out, but the problem is that our aquarium is really too deep for that. So what we decided is that the easiest thing is for him to float out of the aquarium. And what he uses to float out is called a BC. BC stands for buoyancy compensator, and it works kind of like a life jacket. So you can inflate it with air that he's got in his tank and float up in the aquarium, or deflate it and float back down. So we're going to ask him to show us how that BC works, okay? Do you guys all remember how to ask whether he's okay? Oh, very nice. I like it. Now, to say show us your BC, we put our hands on either side of our chest, like we're holding onto the sides of our pretend jacket, and we open our pretend jacket up. Excellent. This is much easier in winter because everybody's wearing an actual jacket. Now, on the left-hand side of his BC, he's got a couple of little buttons. The first one of those is a small button. When he presses that small button, he inflates his BC with air and he rises in the aquarium. The other button is a big button. When he presses that big button, he deflates his BC and he sinks back down. Guys, for those of you who are just arriving, if you want to come grab a seat on the risers, you may. If you want to stand back against the wall, that's fine too. If you're going to be right in front of the aquarium, will you please sit down so that the people behind you can see what's going on. Thank you very much. Now, you'll notice that Chris is back on the bottom of our aquarium. The thing about him, though, is that just going up and down, kind of like an elevator or a helicopter, is not enough. He wants to swim some, too. What does he have on his feet that helps him swim? What does he have? Yeah, he has flippers or fins, we call them sometimes. Yeah, we're going to ask him to show us how he swims. Ready?
Oh, yeah.
We're going to ask him whether he's okay.
But he wanted to do it special for Taylor. He's going to hold up a sign at the end that says Happy Birthday, Taylor.
Very good. So, he's going to put just a little bit of air in his BC so he gets up off the bottom of the aquarium, and then he's going to kick around. Our divers usually show us 3 different kicks. The first is called a flutter kick. And even if you don't know what a flutter kick is called, you didn't know it by name, you've probably done it before. Because this is our natural kick. When we get in the ocean or in the pool, this is what we use to swim around. The second kind of kick is usually called a dolphin kick. When we do a dolphin kick, dolphins obviously don't have 2 legs, they have just 1 tail. So Chris will put both of his feet together, kick a couple times, and then glide. And the third kick that we see sometimes, but we're not going to see it today, is called a frog kick. When we do a frog kick, our legs go way up and down, kind of like a frog's legs. And we use that often in cave diving or other areas like that where you might pick up stuff on the bottom that would be hard, make it hard to see. So that kicks up a lot less silt and that sort of thing. Now, it looks like Chris is just about done showing us the scuba gear that he's got with him today. So here's what we're going to do at this point. If you have any questions, I'm going to hang out down here for a while, and you're more than welcome to come ask them. If you would like to come take a picture, Chris is usually really good about hanging around in our aquarium for a while, so you're welcome to do that. The last thing that we're going to do today, though, I think maybe Chris has a message for us. Let's see what it says. Let's see if he's got it all ready for us. What is that? Oh, he's going to hold it upside down. That's not helpful. What is that? Oh, it says, Happy Birthday, Taylor. Taylor, where'd you go? I saw you a minute ago. Oh, there you are. What happened to your tiara? Happy birthday, Taylor. All right, guys. Thank you very much for your time today. Have a great day. Again, let me know if you have any questions. Let's all wave goodbye so Chris knows we're done with it.